Good evening, everyone! It's the ghostly freak of the internet back at it again, Cagliostro Cotard! Not sorry that this stream is a little later than the other ones. It's the 5-year anniversary of when I met my partner, you see. No, wait, not when I met my partner. When he and Today's the 5-year anniversary of when he and I started dating, you know? Yep. I love my spouse so much. Now, this isn't the first time I tried to do a Stack 'em Up Sunday. Whoops! I just realized the stream information says Saturday. Keep forgetting that it's for Sundays, not Saturdays. But like I was saying, this isn't the first time I've tried a Stack 'em Up Sunday. That was last week, and it went really bad because I forgot to switch from my desktop audio being on and my microphone being off because of the Fuser Friday previously, to the desktop audio being off and my microphone being on. So I ended up doing a single tier list, and my explanation got totally muted. So to start, I'm gonna do... Yeah. What the hey? Crap, I forgot to turn on my computer. How do I keep messing this sort of stuff up? Not a good track record. I'm going to be starting... Oops. Oopsie doodle. Let me move that image. I'm going to be doing a quick explanation of the baby Pokemon tier list that I did last week, since my explanation got muted. Darn it, my pedals are very itchy today. That keeps happening. I think I'm going to try and get it looked at tomorrow. Now then, for rank S, first of all, we've got my favorite baby Pokemon, Budew. Budew has a really solid evolution line. You start with cute with Budew, and then you go to Roselia, who's very elegant, and then you go to Roserade, who is still elegant. And also, the grass type is really nice. It's like, got a bunch of solid designs. I do think that Budew having yellow, green, red, and blue in the color palette is a bit much. Maybe their face could have been like a pale green. But you could make the similar argument about Roserade, who has all of those and a bunch of white. But like the yellow is more of an accent. Maybe if you switched out the yellow in Roserade's design with white and then made their hair like a pale green, that would work. But one of the big reasons I like Budew is, see, I was in a Discord server with one of those bots where it's like, sometimes sends a message where it's like, hey, you've got your Pokemon leveled up. And the Pokemon who I had active at the time was a Budew. And I was telling my friends, my partner and I are married now. And immediately under that, a Discord message showed up and said, hey, your Budew leveled up. And we were like, the Budew officiated our marriage. And Budew's always been really special to me because of that. Now, next is Igglybuff, who, well, there's not a lot to say about Igglybuff. They're just really cute and round, and sometimes they're drawn with the little 3 mouth, and their eyes are very big, kind of like Ladybuzz. And to top it all off, they've got the little swirl on their head, so there's not like a vacant space there. When I was little, I came up with a fake Pokemon, and who was like Igglybuff but green and black, and I called them Wurmplesty, and I came up with a bunch of lore about them. I was like, oh, they're well, I can't remember a lot of the lore right now because I think I was in like 4th grade when it happened. But Igglybuff, Igglybuff and I do have a history. And then in between Igglybuff and Cannon Mime Jr. would be the Beta Mime Jr. design from Pokemon Gold and Silver. Because honestly, they look so cute, like a kid's drawing. Here, let me pull up an image. Come on. Where's the good one that credits the artist? That glitters is gold. Shooting stars break the mold. There's the image I need. Now, look at this little baby drawn by Rachel Briggs. I'm sorry about how slow of a process this is, but this is Bararina. So that's literally the word ballerina. Just look at this whimsical little baby. Looks like a gnome or a fantasy creature from a kid's book from before the turn of the century. So yeah, Ballerina's charm would put them between Igglybuff and Cannon Mime Jr. And the reason Cannon Mime Jr. is up there is because, well, my spouse is a cloud. I love clouds by association. Now, for the A tier, we've got Happiny first. And that's because sorry. I was able to talk much faster on the original Stack 'em Up Sunday stream, but right now I'm a little scatterbrained. Happiny is really cute in the lore of them carrying white round stones to imitate Chansey and Blissey. And I like the little ponytail. I like the blush stickers. Just like a solid Pokemon. And then you've got Magby. Since I'm such a big Magmar fan and Magmortar fan, it seems it's natural that Magby would follow. Although I don't like their design as much as Magmar and Magmortar. And then we've got Cleffa, who's just like adorable in general. You ever see that one Tumblr post? It's like, oh, I want to feed a Cleffa mashed potatoes, and then someone added a little drawing of the Igglybuff acting like a baby trying to be fed mashed potatoes. That was really cute. So while admittedly generic in their cuteness, Cleffa is just like, aww. And before that, underneath that, actually, I probably should have put the fella higher up on the list, but I'm not exactly going to go back to the whole thing to that tier list just for correcting myself. In right between A tier and B tier would be Beta Elekid. Because I mean, and this art is also by Rachel Briggs. Let me see if I can drop a link. Here. Here's a link to Rachel Briggs' DeviantArt page. Beta Elekid, or Ella Baby, as they were originally called. They just look kind of awkward. They look like they're trying to hide from you that they ate a bunch of cookies, but they're not really good, so you can just see that obvious that they just tried to stuff all the all the cookies in their face so that you can't tell that there are any left. I like their I'm not a big fan of halos normally, but I like how this little ring fills up the negative space of the stinger. And I do like the stinger itself. I like how the body sort of flows smoothly from the almost orb-like shape to the point, like something like a curve you'd see on a graphing calculator. I believe it'd be like it's probably not y equals x cubed, but I want to say that. And of course, they look like a little bumblebee, and they got those blank, beady little eyes. Beta Elekid, I put right on the line between A and B. And then we have Chingling, who's like a cute little orb, very big smile. The black marks on or by their mouth make it look even bigger, and I think that's really cute. They're not just an orb, they're a bell, specifically. And their 3D animations are pretty good. They just sort of like float there, all serene. And then there's Bonsly. I was like, I was like once, oh, Bonsly's just like me. We're always crying all the time. We're always freaking out. So I do have some nostalgia based on that. And then Mantyke is cute in a generic way. There's not much to say about them. And then C, it's like Ukulele Pichu was technically my first starter Pokemon. So I'm sick of Pikachu, but there's the nostalgia around Pichu. And it's like Pichu is less overplayed than Pikachu. And then there's Azurill, who's really cute. I like the tail. I like the shade of blue. But they just look so sad in certain sprites. It's like you kind of dread seeing one. Then there's Munchlax, who's like, oh, hey, also just like me for real, because we both eat so much. And then there's the canonical Elekid, who's like, I like their attitude that's conveyed by the expression. They're like, heck yeah, let's go. I'm gonna get anyone who tries to get in my way. And then there's Togepi, who's like, yeah, that's Togepi. Togepi was put in the anime as a, like, they put a Togepi in the main cast for a reason, and that's because Togepi is cute. D is for these Pokemon who are just, like, unremarkable to me. And then there's Riolu. I'm, like, sick of Riolu and Lucario. And then there's Toxel, because I don't like that Pokemon is wearing an outright diaper. And I don't like the idea of having, like, a baby Pokemon who's a poison type. I guess I'm just really scared of the concept of poisoning in general. And then we have Smoochum. If she and Jinx didn't have those lips, and Jinx didn't have, you know, that history that she has, I would like Smoochum, because I like the Dora the Explorer hairstyle, and I like the pink, but unfortunately they do have the lips, and Jinx does have that history. So yikes. And now let's get to the actually new tier list. Also, let me check. How long have I been live? I worry that I took up a bunch of your time. 15 minutes and 35 seconds. Yeah, I was stammering a lot. But anyway, here we are with the first tier list of the night. It is all the Pokemon types. I might be ranking them on how much I like them in general, how much I like specific Pokemon in them. This isn't really a strict scaling thing, because then I'd just get stressed out. I'd be like, oh, do I like the dark type, or do I just really like these Pokemon in the dark type? Speaking of, let's get started. Dark type is S tier, and so is fire type. I like that I really like fire, the idea of fire powers. Except for, you know, that one guy from KND. But that's because of that guy's personality. And I also like that there's a type that's just dedicated to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fight dirty. I'm the evil type. Ghost, I like conceptually. And Fairy, I like conceptually too. It's also kind of all over the place, which is neat. Ground is really boring. Ground type has Wooper, and that's it. No ground type Pokemon other than Wooper really pops out to me. Being like, oh wow, that's one of my favorite Pokemon. Poison, Poison has like solid Pokemon. Like they've got Coughing and Wheezing, they've got Roselia. Who else have they got who I think is really cool? They've got Eternatus, Pecharunt. Psychic, I like conceptually. Normal, I like that they're like anything but normal. It's like the weird Pokemon who don't really fit one of the elemental categories. Steel is cool conceptually because it's like, yeah, these people are made of metal. These Pokemon are made of metal. Excuse me, sorry. Something in my... Just ignore that little noise just now. And water type is pretty solid. It's like, who doesn't enjoy a nice cool dip in the water? Bug is like, they do have Ledyba. And it's also like, ooh, my spouse loves bugs. So that like gives me a positive association with the bug type. But I think it's just like a small handful of bug types. And unlike with, say, the poison type, the Pokemon who I like who are bug type, it's more like just a, oh wow, those are cool. Rather than like, oh wow, I really like these Pokemon that happen to be poison type. Then we got Dragon. Most Dragon types who I like are like their typing doesn't really factor in how much I like them. Electric? Nah. I think the best electric type is Charjabug. And I don't really like a lot of other electric types except maybe both Voltorb lines. And I guess Zekrom and Thundurus, but not because they're electric type. Fighting. Fighting has some solid Pokemon, but Fighting has some solid Pokemon, like Hitmonlee, for instance. And Hitmonlee is the only example I can think of. Let's see, you're a B.5. Gotta make sure the colors are all chromatically in order. Otherwise, that would really bother me. Flying is boring because it's just like, oh, it's just like, the flying type seems like an afterthought. Like, a lot of creatures fly. A lot of creatures fly. There's lots of bugs, lots of birds, there's bats. But we don't be like, oh, these are the flyers. These are the flyers. We're just like, we have birds and some other animals who fly. But it's not like, I think Bogleech put it best. Flying is more of an action. It's like, there's not a swimming type. There's a water type. Grass, really good pretty solid. You've got Bulbasaur, you've got the Budew line, you got Eldegoss, who, fun fact, I kept pronouncing Eldegoss with an L when the Pokemon first came out, to the point that I nicknamed my Gossifleur Eldegoss because I knew that I'd be like, this sounds weird without the L. Ice is, pun not intended, cool, but a lot of Pokemon there don't really stick out to me. Bergmite is cute. Bergmite looks all nervous. Rock type. Rock type is up there with the fighting type. Now, if I were to sort these by how much I like them, kind of hard to think of on the spot. All right, that's the Pokemon type tier list. Let me pull up the next one. That only took 7 minutes. We're breezing through that one by comparison. Next, we're gonna look at jobs in Miitopia. Big fan of Miitopia. I like the customization. Imp, A tier. I love those funky little fellas. Thief is A tier. My first job in the game, I want to say was a thief. Probably wasn't, but that was one of the jobs I remember having when I first played through Miitopia. I like how it's like the first job you're introduced to that has an AoE attack. Princess is, let's say a B.5. Hey, this person mixed up B and C. Oh well. No, I meant B.5. Now I'm mixing them up too. I like the idea. I like the gowns that they wear, but I don't like the flavor of their attacks where it's like, oh, ho, ho, I'm so dainty. I've got teacups and stuff. Because it's like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. But it's not very interesting. But it doesn't really align with my taste. If you had like a weapon as a princess, that'd be cool. Clerics, I don't like the implications of connection to Christianity. I have a history with Christianity. That sort of leaves me like uncomfortable with even associations with it. And the cleric's all about like holy powers and stuff. Flower is B tier. Or maybe a B.25. I like how they look. I like their weapons. It's just that I do know that they're pretty weak. And it's kind of like a middle of a jack of all trades of sorts. Cat! Cat will go up here with B. Their skills are like pretty generic. Like their basic attack doesn't even, their attacks don't like stand out to me. I know that they've got like paws for scratching and stuff, but it's like they don't really emphasize the cat nature. Mages. Eventually, you're just gonna be using the same spells, the same 3 spells over and over. Warrior. Pretty cool, I guess. I like using Spin Slash, and I like that they have a resurrection spell where it's just like, hey, get up! Slaps you. Cool. Elves, elves are interesting. But they do have that one spell. It's called like Blessing of the Forest, and I'm like, ugh, blessing, because like again the Christianity thing. And vampires are def A tier. I mean S tier. I'll move imps to A tier. This is bothering me. Much better. Pop star. I like the idea of the pop star class. I like them definitely more than the elf class. But I don't like the fact that their revival skill is named Angelic Voice. And I don't like that. And I don't like when non-playable Miis, like, if you want to have a pop star for diversity on your team, or because you think that it fits the person who is on your team, like if you had like just to pick a random example, if you had like Will Wood from Will Wood and the Tapeworms on your team, and you're like, oh yeah, he's a singer, so pop star class. But then you have to deal with them using Attitune and way Attitune, and the only way to really stop them from doing that is to give them hyper sprinkles if you still want them to participate in the battle. Chef is nice. I like Chef. Although that spicy dish, man, that spicy dish is just like yikes. And also the chef has a lot of nice outfits, and the idea of smacking someone with a frying pan is just really appealing. I like the scientist class. Scientist class is pretty cool. Ah, how did these get mixed? How did the A and the B row get switched? But anyway, yeah, scientist. Pretty cool, pretty cool. I like their outfits. And tank. It would be so nice if tank was better. They never, when you have a non-playable tank in your party, they never seem to like use the good skills at the right time. No, wait. Scratch that. Their healing skills suck. Like, why would you have them use the shell thing to defend the repairs thing when that takes like a handful of turns to work, and you can just throw them in the safe spot or use the HP sprinkles. If your healing spell is a last resort compared to your items instead of the other way around, I feel as if you've done something wrong. But yeah, that's the Miitopia job tier list. Let me pull up the next one. Tomodachi Life Dreams. Here, let me move myself over. There we go. Wait just a second. No, wait, if I go to the "we'll be right back" screen, then I won't be able to see if I put it in the right position. Well, let's just get to the thing. Whoop. Trap hole. Kind of funny, but not really. A Tiny Me's one. This one ends up frustrating me because I'm always trying to hear the line where they say like, "Get to the object," or like, "Get to the insert object name here," because it's like, it's cool that they thought that the programmers added a line where you can say the specific they can say the specific object they're going to hide under, but then it just like shows up one time. It shows up for me like one time, and then every time I actively try to look for it, it doesn't. Dormies, kind of boring. Pulling your leg's a little funny. Fleeing food is hilarious. Sun panel, not really good because if a me is dreaming, then it's usually at night, and there's not a lot of sun that you can use for the solar panel gag. Stick me, pretty boring. All hail is actually pretty funny. Backpack, nah, that's like boring. But I do like the skeleton keychain. In the car is funny. You can just I really like how each time it's like the second me the me sitting in the passenger seat just like stares with wide eyes and says nothing about whatever wild thing the me driving says. Old me, I kind of like seeing what the me's look like when they're old. I fall down. This one's a little funny. Maybe like A tier, bordering on B tier. I like the ones where they're flying and then they land on the giant burger and they stare at you like a plushie with floppy limbs who you left lying on the top of the couch. Gosh damn it, I need to get something for my pedals. I've been having this issue where it's like, I'll get itches in my pedals that are like really close to the center of my head, and to reach into the tiny spaces, I use a Q-tip, like someone with an ordinary head would for their ears, but like a human with their ears, when you push the Q-tip in too far, it obviously hurts, but it's getting to the point where it's like, even I can't push the Q-tip in far enough to actually get where the itch is. And even if I try to be careful with like not sticking it in far enough, then it's like, well, now it hurts and you've hurt yourself and you still have the itch. Really sucks. Haircut is boring. Hat trap is a little funny at first, but then it just sort of becomes repetitive. I do like when they run away from out of the hat trap though. That's kind of funny. It's like their running animation doesn't line up with how fast they're moving. It's like, ah! Hide and seek is really funny when it's like, both the scenarios are funny. It's like when you got whether you got the version where it's one person going, not yet, because you hear it over and over again in their computer generated voice and the intonation. It makes it for like a fun verbal stem to try and mimic the computerized voice. And also it's funny when you get the scenario when it's like a bunch of me's up in the trees and they're like, now we're ready. It's fun seeing how their voices all sound at once, and then the other person just jumps and it's like boom, they all fall out of the trees with right onto the ground, and they're just like wide-eyed with shock. Food Love Story is kind of funny, and sometimes you'll recognize the voice of the me behind the second food object, and then it's fun because it's like, oh hey, I know which me that is. Like that's this me or that me. I mean, when you have a lot of me's on your island, it becomes hard to tell apart the different voices. So that part gets less likely to happen the bigger your island is, but it's still funny when you recognize the voice. Okay, this one's the sea monster one. I think it's funny, the version when they freak out, when like there's one me on the beach and turns around and they see a bunch of giant Miis and they're waving their arms and they're jumping up and down as if they're trying to do jumping jacks, but only half of the jumping jack, and they're like, "Wah!" It's really funny. Mirror. I don't like this one because it gives you a marionette, and I'm like, no thanks. The ninja's funny, especially when the ninja dream is funny, especially when the person who's being spied on like tries to get up to grab the ninja, and the ninja like freaks out and flips back around on the spinning panel. Or like when the sitting Mii looks over their shoulder and the panel is just spun, but then it spins back to hiding the ninja really fast. Imposter's a little funny, but after you get all the hats from there, it's just sort of boring. It's kind of amusing though when they're all like, ha ha ha, wonderful. Paint Factory. Sometimes it gives me ideas for what color to dye Mii's hair. But other than that, I'm like, why are they being treated like mass-produced objects? It's like, aw, that's like, it's like sad. The spinach, or if you're playing the North American version, chili pepper dream, it's funny the first time, but then it's just like, ugh, I have all these chili peppers, and not a lot of people like them. And the red thread is really cute because it's like, oh, the red string of fate reference. But it also goes on kind of long if you want to see who's on the other end of the string. And then snails. The snail dream is funny, but there's not a lot going on in it. Sneeze is really funny when you get the version where they're going across the screen and it's like, achoo, 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 achoo. Superhero is kind of fun when you get to see the random combinations of like who's attacking the island, who's playing the little transformative fairy, what color will the suit be, what color will the Mii's hair be, what color will the superhero Mii's hair be, what will the superhero Mii say after transforming. There's like a lot of combinations, and it's like, ooh, which one will we get next? But which tier is it? I guess it does get kind of boring. I guess it does get pretty boring after you've seen it enough times and you've gotten all the colors of the outfit. Waves is terribly boring. And Windows is good in theory, but I don't like I know that but I don't like that it relies on the 3DS camera, which I do know, I know is required. I know that's how it's funny, but I'm like, I don't want to look at my face in the mirror. So that's the Tomodachi Life Dream tier list. We're really going through these. I wonder if I'll actually be able to reach the hour mark. But it will be more time with it will be more time with my partner if I get the stream done a little early. Now this one will be hard because it's colors. It's colors. And there's not a lot you can say about colors. But first, of course, gotta say, why did it say pretty, I'll keep you? I don't like that. Because my brain immediately, for some reason, acted as if they were talking about, like, those kidnapping fanfics. I do like kidnapping fanfics, but I'm like, Wait a minute. I thought we were doing colors. Anyway, I'll admit I don't have a lot to say about these colors, but let's give this a shot. Blue-green, seen a lot. Blue, it's not like blue. There's better blue crayons. And also, if you want a true blue, I feel as if you're better off using a marker. Brick red is good. Brown is good, but not as good as sepia. Speaking of, we'll put sepia up here. Blue-violet. I was kind of over it when I was a kid. Indigo is nice. Black is really good. And no, I'm not going to sort these in their rows to be like, oh, this is the highest S, this is the lowest S, or whatever, because it's colors. That's going to take a while. Cerulean. Nah. Cadet blue. Cadet blue is pretty. Chestnut. Very nice. Carnation. It's cute. It's like the Valentine's Day pink. Gold is great because, I mean, come on, it's gold. Now, goldenrod is solid but not remarkable. Green yellow. No thanks. Now, regular green. It's certainly pretty. It's like at the high end of the C tier, I'll admit. Gray. It's gray. What more can I say? Hot magenta. Good. Granny Smith apple. Very nice. Dandelion. It's really similar to goldenrod. Laser lemon. Looks a lot like a drink. Looks a lot like a color. If you made your soda that color, someone would probably make a pee joke. Lavender. Does not look like lavender. That's more of like a dusty pink. Macaroni and cheese. This does not look like macaroni and cheese. Magenta. Red violet. Better than magenta because it's more saturated. Mahogany. Pretty good. And marvelous. I like it a lot, but it is really similar to the other pinks in the tier. Melon. Pretty good. Yeah, A tier. Olive green. Ugh. Orange. Just not a big fan of orange. Red orange, though. Red orange is great. Plum. Now that's a good purple. That's a good purple. Peach is helpful for when I want to draw myself. And apricot, leans a little too close to the yellow for when I want to draw myself. There's like the yellow undertones. I don't make it less helpful for me to draw when I want to draw myself with crayons than the peach. But of course, you don't usually see the peach crayon as much as you see the apricot crayon. Beaver's good. Burnt sienna. Looks kind of gross. Looks kind of like when your cats eat too much of the little pebble-shaped food and puke. Orchid. Orchid is good. Orchid is pretty good. Pacific blue. That's just blue-green with a little extra step. Periwinkle. Gimme. Purple Mountain Majesty. Awesome. And this is what? Raw sienna? Raw indeed. It looks even more like cat vomit than burnt sienna. Red. Hell yeah, red. Robin's egg blue. Very unique compared to blue-green. It's much more saturated. It stands out. It's on those, what are they called? Dixie cups? I like those. Salmon. Gotta love a pink with red undertones. Scarlet. Looks a lot like red, but looks nearly distinguishable from the red. But if you want a slightly lighter red than the red, then this is your go-to color. Freeman green. Cool name, but that's not a color I really like. Sea green. Yes. Silver. Now, silver is better than gray because it's silver. They add that special metallic effect. Sky blue. That's pretty solid, but I feel like it could be more on the blue. This looks a little teal. Spring green. Blech. Tan. Better than burnt sienna, but seeing it with raw sienna and burnt sienna is causing me to associate the tan with cat vomit as well. Tickle Me Pink. Cute, but it feels like an in-between. It feels like an in-between salmon and magenta, and it feels just like an in-between salmon and magenta. Timberwolf. Pretty nice. Like, Tickle Me Pink doesn't stand out. Tumbleweed. I like tumbleweed. I like the nice I like the nice beige. That's a classic beige right there. Turquoise blue. No, thank you. Robin's egg is the way to go. Well, actually, I guess the turquoise blue is pretty good. And maybe it's even a little closer to that Dixie Cup blue than Robin's egg blue is. Violet red. Solid. But see, look. Next to Tickle Me Pink, these are almost the same color. You gotta make every color count. Unless you're Scarlet compared to red, I guess. Violet. Violet is very nice, but it's in like the standard pack of crayons, so you sort of end up taking it for granted and you're being like, oh yeah, that's just Violet. Vivid Tangerine. Still looks like cat vomit. White crayon. How many opportunities are you going to get to draw on paper where it actually shows up? Now, Wild Watermelon. This one's cute. This one's cute. It's a little like melon, but a bit more saturated, a bit more to the red side rather than the orange. Wisteria. Really pretty. Wisterias are nice flowers. Yellow-green. No, thank you. And yellow or first of all, that's not what yellow-orange looks like. But if this was actually yellow-orange, I'd probably say C tier. And yellow, just use a yellow marker. Like, the color itself is nice, but the crayon, just use a yellow marker. The yellow crayon's gonna get all dirty. Just like with the peach and the apricot and the white crayon. All the light colored crayons, you're gonna end up dealing with putting all the crayons in the same spot, and they're gonna be bumping tips with the darker colors, and then when you try to use like the peach or the white or the yellow again, it's gonna get all muddled because it'll have specks of the darker colors on it, and they'll all get blended together when you try and use the crayon because you'll be pushing those little specks against both the paper and the big crayon. But that's my colors. That's my Crayola 64 pack tier list. Wait, did I save the image? Did I save the image? Yeah, I did. And now this is going to be the final tier list of the first Stack 'em Up Saturday. Animal Crossing cats. Let's go. I think we just need 4 rows for this, huh? I don't think we need to get excessive with it all. Let me throw in my favorite cats. But I'm not going to be sorting them within the thingies. Tangy, Dinky, Rover, Bob. Well, actually, I've seen Bob around my island, so I'm getting a little sick of him. I like Bianca, I believe is her name, Bianca or Blanca. I might as well look her up just to be courteous. Yep. Blanca is her name. And now back to it. Anka, Anka, I feel like is overhyped. And Kiki's really cute. Kabuki, I'm getting a little sick of him because he is on my island, so I get a very repetitive dialogue. But I'm still like, aw, Kabuki. Punchy is in A tier for the same reason. And then Pearl. And then, I suppose, Rosie. I'm not a big fan of the... Oh, wait, here. Let's just go through. Mitzi is cute. Lolly's cute, but she's on my island, so I see her a lot. Kit Kat is really cute, especially in like a Morgana from Persona 5 kind of way. I don't like these two because I don't like that the cats are like trying to seem sexy. I don't really have strong feelings about this. Well, her name's Tabby, right? No, that's not Tabby. That's not Tabby. Tabby is Tabby is this one. With her pig nose. With her like a literal cat with the nose of a literal pig. Yeah, what's the name of the other one? Cat, I remember now. I went to type in Wikipedia and then I remembered her name is Cat. Rudolph, I do like his red nose, and I just realized that's why he's named that. That's cute. I don't really like her. She's just like, she looks too, she's like a special character, but she doesn't really stick out as like, she looks like more like she'd belong in like a Madeline cartoon. This one's novel, but her much more realistic face is kind of creepy. This one's Piero, right? I like Piero because clown. But I like Piero because clown. But that's not enough to make him like A tier. And I don't like this cat. That's Caitlin, right? I don't like how she has these really big lips. Like, why is the cat wearing lipstick? And why is the cat trying to look sexy with lipstick? Don't really know who this is. Fellas, this little girl's cute. What's her name? Fifi, I think? No, definitely not Fifi. Let me check. I don't think there is a villager named Fifi. Mary, that's her name. That's her name. This guy reminds me of when I bite my lower lip like a rabbit and then I feel stupid. Raymond is very much overplayed. I saw a comic once by someone it was like a Bob and Punchy talking to Tom, who's this fella right here with the BB shirt, and they were like, "Hey Tom, do you have any special talents?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure I do." And he does the Tom and Jerry scream. He's like, "Yeah!" And that's really funny, but otherwise, Tom is not very remarkable to me. Actually, because this guy's making me feel self-conscious, I'm gonna put him in D tier. And I don't know who this little fella is. Let me check. They are. Oh. Oh, I'm worried about somebody. I feel very bad for somebody. Like their name is literally just somebody. Feline from the Monster Hunter series. Gosh damn it. I don't like Monster Hunter. Monsters don't deserve to be hunted. But Feline is pretty cute. In like a generic cat way. So you're gonna get C tier. And that's the last tier list of the night. Let's see, how long did we make it? 53 minutes and 53 seconds. Wow. They're like matchies. You get 10 coins for that. I think I'm still shaken up by the somebody. By somebody and by the Monster Hunter stuff. But that was one of the streams of all time. The first official Stack 'em Up Sunday. Thank you for watching.